Well, thank you. It's starting to get late. I will try to keep my time. I'm supposed to have a focus on survey methodology. I'm employed at the Institute of Marine Research, and one of my main targets is to do a national survey on recreational fisheries, figure out how much is caught, and hopefully get the social scientists with us and do those two things together. But we're not there. So we have to build stone by stone, do small studies, working with the ISIS group to plan. So we are prepared the day the government finally asks us to do it. So we have to do small studies, show what's going on, and try to move on. So since it's popular to show the kids, your kids fishing, so I have to include a picture of my son catching his first cod this year.
Under the size limit.
Yeah, it's, he released it. I will try to talk a bit about what we know, and what we think we know, and what we know we don't know, and what we know we want to know, and what we know we want to do. So I'm trying to be quick. I'm not going to talk much about lobster, but that was my PhD, to estimate the recreational fishery in lobster, because that's a standardized fishery. It's last 1 month, only 1 year, was possible to do for a PhD student. So in southern Norway, where I'm based in Skagerrak coast, I did a survey in the lobster season, and I had standardized logbooks from recreational fishers, tested them for a random selection of fishers in field, checked that they were not significantly different. After 7 years, they are. Now my reporters are significantly different from the random selection because now they are more professional than they are. So you can change that quickly, the logbook reporters. That they change after a few years, they are different. First you pick them, you gather them, then they have no difference with the fish population. Then after a few years, they're suddenly different. So the last 2 years they have been significantly different. And they have higher catch rate than the others. This is just an example of recreational fishery in Skagerrak. This is official landings, commercial official landings. This is my estimates of the landings. The commercial is only 1/3 is reported, and recreational is dominating with 2/3 of the catches. So that's an example. It's good to go to the government and say, look here, this is your data, this is our data. We need to collect more. We are now in the way to publish the same on cod. I had luckily some colleagues doing a market capture study on cod, looking at different aspects, ecology and so on, but they marked like 7,000 cod from 2005 to 2010. So I could start, but they collected data on who caught it, was there a recreational fisher, commercial fisher, what type of gear did they catch it with. So I could go back and start to look at who are catching these cods. So you see here the red is where they're marked, and the blue is recaptures. They hardly move, they're in the same area a little bit. So here you see that commercial fishermen are just, that's the red, it's just a small part of the fishery. So recreational fishers are, stands for around 70% of the total landings of the marked cod, the tank cod. It's not, doesn't have to be representative for the cod population, but this is within islands. So you see the tourists, been a lot of discussion about the tourists coming to Norway, and that's foreign tourists, very little. Mostly it's caught by local recreational fishers. And 54% of the recreational catches are by angling, so it's almost 50-50 angling and standing gear by recreational fishers. So that's as well big. It's a small part of Norway, but it's an example that we need to collect this data because they are important for the management of our coastal resources. Just another study as well. We got implemented. This is a project to look at the genetical differences in cod between recreational fisheries and prawn trawlers, because we are North Sea cod and we have the genetically different fjord cod. But we got the opportunity to do a recreational fishing survey like a Robin Quill survey, driving by boat from April to August, a survey every month, and randomly selecting routes and doing intercept surveys with people angling from boats. So as you see, as usual, men is dominating. 20% are foreign boats, they're rented or something, but quite a big portion is tourists, foreign tourists, dominated by Germany, but as well as a lot of other countries. I think it's a nice age distribution, that actually kids are out there fishing together with the family and so on, so it's not too bad, I think. I don't know how it was before, though. But we have young fishers as well. So this is what you want, 10% want sea trout, but they don't catch much on it. So, I think we registered 1 sea trout in the whole survey, but 10% of the fishers didn't catch it. So it's a popular target species, it's a sport fish. Mackerel is dominating, in the summer half of the year in number of fish. It's not, and it's a high target species as well. So like cod, say none. I fish what I get, and cod is a popular species to target. You see that in the landings as well. So this is just some catch and release rates. You have sea trout who was caught for total for sea trouts, 3 was released, but that's a small number, that's a problem with this data. We were looking at cod, and the release rate is about 50% in a local recreational fishery as well. It's not only tourists, as Kjell talked about yesterday, so we see the same trend, mainly due to small fishes. And in 2010 it was introduced a minimum size limit for a number of species in Norway. But the knowledge about it wasn't too good. We asked every captain we interviewed, do you know what the minimum size limit is here in the region? There was only 32% who knew it. And around 30% didn't dare to guess. Then you have the distribution of the guesses around the 40 centimeter limit. So it's a job to do in Norway to have higher focus on recreational fisheries and information. And then we see that 24% of the cod was under minimum size, and I think that's a little bit too much. Even that some are dead when you can't be released. The Recreational Fisheries has made an application for recreational fisheries, but that's a good step forward, but it's a long way to go to get information out. I wanted to mention, but this is the last other study we have on recreational fisheries, is the tourist survey we have. So this is the stone by stone knowledge building. So, and I think we're pointing out quite well that recreational fishing is big in Norway, it's popular, and we should really focus on it on all different aspects. I'm not going to talk about the regulations, I'm just going to say that our challenge in Norway to do surveys is quite big, because we have these very, very liberal regulations on recreational fishing. And it's a very long coastline, and it's a small population, and it's scattered around, so and it's 250,000 registered boats, but it's not mandatory register, so we can't use it for surveys, but it's probably more boats than that. And we have the tourists coming, so this is just what Trude presented yesterday, the different countries coming to Norway to fish. So collaborating with Europe is maybe necessary to get good numbers of fishing activity. And Norway, Norwegians are, I'm sorry about this is in Norwegian, but this means fishing trip. How many fished, you informed in interview 1 year recall survey. Did you fish last year? Did you go skiing? Did you go swimming? There are more people going fishing than going skiing, and I think that's great. So we are not born with the skis on our feet, we are born with a rod in the hand. So that's a selling trick to the government. And it's evenly distributed almost between saltwater and freshwater, so both. A lot of people fish in both. But what we don't know is the total catch, the total value of the fishery, and where you fish, where is the highest pressure. Some places maybe not a problem, other places we have, like in Skagerrak, where half of the population, Norwegian population live. I'm pretty sure we have some issues with recreational fisheries, and we have to get the numbers to do it sustainable. I just put that in last night because Norway scored the least worst on Peter Nadal's review of Alf Ring Kleiven of the UN code for sustainable fisheries, or code of conduct for sustainable fisheries. Norway was ranked high there, but if we did the same and evaluated responsible recreational fisheries, we would maybe have a challenge to score high. So we have really a potential to get that in. So due to high participation rate, expectedly high catches, liberal rules, international participation in our fishery, and a very long coastline, I'm a promoter of fishing license in Norway, but I know I'm knocking my head in the wall. But we have a good discussion about it. It makes it much easier for us to do our surveys, and it would be much more cost efficient to get numbers. But either way, we need panels. I just wanted to mention that, since we are talking about here logbooks and how to collect this data. And what we have to do, either we have license or not, we need to do some screening surveys. We need a panel of people and memory joggers collect data, follow them up through a year, and you can do that either by interviews that they give away their data now and then, but the easiest, of course, is that they can fill it out themselves on the internet or smartphones or whatever. So I don't say it's easy, but that's the way to go. We have tested out this internet reporting in the lobster fishery and crayfish fishery. So this is a passive gear recreational fishing standing gear. But people are quite keen to report to us. We have tried to make it as easy as possible, just the data we want. So here they fill out, for example, for lobster, we ask quite detailed, but they fill out. I get 200 reports every year from recreational fishers all along the coast, and I give them statistics back, so they have something to rely on. So we have a small cooperation with Scanatura, who just made a page for us, and we build stone by stone there as well. So that's what we haven't had, but we haven't tested too much on our lobster fishers, because there's not many of them having smartphones. They like to write on paper, so it's hard to get them on internet. Yeah. So summing up, recreational catches in Norway are expected to be high, but it's still unknown. The survey will be challenging but exciting task. It's a need of a lot of resources, and not only resources but also a professional team with statisticians, social scientists, marine biologists, and so on. So it's building up the competence as well. It's just as important as getting the money to do it right. Online reporting system, we have to work with that, because it will do it efficient if you use it rightly. But this is just a thought made when I was here on the conference. It's maybe extreme naive, but I wanted to include it as an end. I've written these 4 countries here, but forgive me if I not include all Nordic countries. Don't feel excluded because of that. But every country here are asking for reliable data on catches and economic value. Everyone wants it, but nobody has it very well. A few countries have some data, but they are not standardized. We collect it differently every country, and so on. So alone we have a problem with low funding, lack of personnel, and so on and so on and so on. We need to be professional. So we should challenge the Nordic countries to build a center of recreational fishing research, wherever it should be. I don't care. But if you could get the competence together, the resources we have together to do international surveys, and we do our data collection in different countries, but we have statisticians who can work together, I think we could get much more out of the resources, and it could be a good collaborative initiative. Very naive, but I just throw it out as an idea, and I will end there. Thank you.